So why is it influencers go broke? Well, I'm gonna give you 10 reasons why they kind of go broke, because one thing you have to realize is when you're watching people online and they look like they're so rich with their Lamborghini and their private plane, in reality, they might be going broke. What you have to realize is one of the biggest mistakes influencers make, and what I always tell people, don't do this, is what we call lifestyle creep. Let's say you start making videos and things start going a little bit better. You're like, oh, I'm gonna make this money forever. I've got influencer money. Yes, that internet money is so great. Sponsors are gonna be rolling in to work with me. And in fact, sometimes these things don't stay, but you move your lifestyle spending to that new point. And you start to spend what you can't afford. You start putting things on credit cards and getting all this debt and all kinds of stuff there. And you realize your lifestyle went from here to here, but your income is still here. And that's why it's really important. Don't start spending like you're a millionaire influencer. Like, be realistic with your budget, because they'll talk about people that get shows on HGTV or the Travel Channel or all these other things. They're like, look, we didn't make any money to our 3rd or 4th season. You got to have that day job, keep things going. That's why I always say, don't quit your day job if you want to be an influencer, because you need to pay the bills. You need that insurance plan. You need that, pension, right? These kind of things. You want to think about that 401k matching, and you want to be careful, but it really comes down into that kind of lifestyle creep where you're starting to spend where you don't actually exist. Like, that's one of the big things. You're just trying to show off, because remember, ego is expensive, and I'm going to talk about that later, but that's where it really kind of comes in, with feeling like, oh, I am bigger, I am important, I do have 1 million followers, I deserve nicer things. Yeah, but you're not making the money to live that way. So that's one of the biggest ones I see where people really get themselves in financial trouble when it comes to being an influencer. Number 2, when it comes to going broke, is the inconsistent income when it comes to being an influencer. I'm not gonna lie to you. Depending on the time of the year, I can make literally half the amount of money than I do other parts of the year. My travel channel, the first half of the year is great. The last half of the year, it's like nobody travels, and the money literally is half of what we're making. And the thing is, if you don't know what your income's gonna be, it's kind of hard to plan. So if I'm living off my, June, July, March, April, like money kind of thing, and I take that into the fall where we're making half the money, oh, that's kind of tough. So you really have to understand is, hey, what is my average yearly income? How can I make this work? Because sometimes, you do very well and you have a great month, like, yes, things are going awesome. And then other months you're like, ooh, we're eating ramen noodles this month, baby. So how do we help that? Well, one thing you want to do is diversify, because if it's YouTube that's high one month and low another, maybe Facebook will be high one month and then low a different month, and that can kind of help you out, kind of balance out your income. And you want to make sure that you have other income streams to help you out. That's why it's important to think about the 3rd reason why people go broke, and that is they don't have a business plan. Look, people, you can't be an influencer and think of it like it's just a fun hobby. You have to think of it like a business if you want to be successful, if you want to make it long term, if you want to make it work. So think about it. What do you want to do as an influencer? Do you want to sell products? Do you want to make videos? Do you want to live off ad revenue? Do you want to sell classes and courses? These kind of things. You have to have a business plan behind it, because no business plan means you're probably going to fail. So really think through what your business plan is going to be, because if you don't have a business plan, you don't have a business. And again, that's how you can go broke, okay? Now, my next thing I want to point out is sometimes influencers actually over leverage and under invest. What does that mean? Well, maybe they're over leveraging their money. They're putting everything on credit cards. I mean, you got a 30% interest rate on things. Wow, that can put you in really a tough financial situation. And so you want to make sure, if you're going to be buying things, is it investing in you? Is it worth it for you? Is it going to help your business grow? Or is it just a fun extra thing to have? For example, I don't go crazy when it comes to buying my equipment. I literally have my Sony camera here, my Manfrotto tripod, and then I have my little tripod and my phone, and that's all I use, right? And I'm not buying $5,000, cameras and $20,000 software packages and these kind of things, because it's not worth it. I don't want to put myself in such financial debt that I can't make it out of it. So whenever you're buying something, you're thinking about putting it on credit card or getting a business loan or something like that, or there's companies that'll reach out to you and say, oh, you're an influencer, you're a content creator. We can help you by giving you money. Make sure whatever you're going to use that money for is going to help you grow your business, invest in your business, not just put yourself in more financial debt, okay? That's why next on my list, I want to talk about our high business costs. Look, getting the expensive camera, getting the expensive software package, getting yourself an office because I need a place to do it. Make sure you have, I have to have the fanciest clothes when I'm filming. Like, doing things like that, put yourself in a bad financial position. I'll see influencers that literally hire photographers to go around with them all the time, which is cool and all, I mean, if you can do it, but I'm like, that costs a lot of money. If you're shelling out a couple $100s to have them come around every day, is it really making a payback on it? And the thing is, it's not just cameras and tripods and software. It can also be the editors you're gonna pay, or maybe, if you wanna get a PR specialist, because there's PR people that will help you get on podcasts and get in newspapers and things and realize, hey, do those things actually pay off? I've had a PR people that have helped us out, and they did get us in Wall Street Journal and all kinds of famous magazines and podcasts and all kinds of stuff, but it didn't actually help us grow our business. Because remember, ego is expensive, right? So make sure if you're gonna be spending money on things, it's gonna help you grow your business, all right? At an affordable price. So if you're looking at your editing, maybe you don't go for the most expensive editors out there, you go for ones that you think do a good job at a good price. Same thing for your thumbnails. But also I think another thing is sometimes people bankrupt themselves with their time. So another thing to consider is your time, money, value. Sometimes that can be paid off better to help you not go broke, because actually to spend money. So a side note on that, sometimes it's worth it to invest in these things and pay for a little bit better, help. But this high cost really depends a lot on the content you're making. Like my travel channel, I travel all around the world, and that is a very expensive habit, very expensive to make those videos. Where my business videos, literally I can just sit in my office at home and make videos there, and that's gonna be a lot cheaper than making travel content. So something to kind of think about, because you're gonna do a product review channel, well, you gotta get the products. And yes, sometimes companies will send them to you, but then other times you have to buy it yourself, and that can add up very quickly. And I think that kind of goes into another reason why a lot of influencers fail and they go broke. Is because they do not have financial literacy. They don't know about saving money. They don't know about having a backup fund. They don't know how to save for retirement. They don't know paying for their insurance. They don't know these kind of things. They don't realize that, look, your college loan debt is not as bad as your credit card debt, because your college loan debt is like 3% and your credit card debt is like 30%. And so that's gonna be a lot more expensive for you than something else. So you really wanna think about this and learn financial literacy, because not knowing isn't gonna help you not go broke. What you have to realize, a lot of influencers really do live like hand to mouth. It's like, whatever I make this week is what's paying my bills for next week. And that could be a very stressful kind of thing. And it's not a very good financial plan. It's not a good way to kind of run things. And I will literally see influencers that literally go from one project to another project to another project, and it has no sense for their business, but they know, oh, this tourism board is gonna pay us to go here, and this tourism board is gonna give us a place to stay and hook us up with tickets for things. And they literally just follow in the little M&Ms, place to place to place, instead of really like having a business plan behind it and understanding why they're doing it, because they're just trying to make the money, and they focus on that and not about an overall business financial, kind of literacy kind of way of looking at their business, saying, okay, I need to plan ahead. I need to think about these things. How am I going to stay above water? How much money do we need? That's why it's important. Do a budget. Keep track of how much you're spending. Don't be like, oh, I think I spent this much. For me, I literally track all the money I spend on our trips. Literally, every hotel bill, every restaurant bill, when I get a little snowball, the sweet treats from here, I literally have that receipt so I can track all my spending, so I know how much should I spend going to this country on this trip, and I can see, hey, you know what? Going to Switzerland, how much it cost me to go there, is it worth it in terms of the income we'd make off of making videos from there? And so that's one of the things you might want to think about doing, is really having a budget about what you're doing, because sometimes you don't realize what you're spending. Oh, I need a new camera. Oh, I need to do this. Do you? Do you really need all those things? That's a really important thing about the financial literacy side of things. Now, another big reason why influencers go broke is they don't own their audience. Look, I'm here on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Facebook or wherever you're watching, maybe you're watching it in a class, I don't own this. YouTube is the owner of this. I'm just the person created it, and YouTube decides whether the algorithm likes our product or doesn't like our product, or what they're gonna show today. And if you don't own it, they can turn it off. You get too many bad comments, too many downvotes, maybe they suspend your channel. Maybe somebody hacks your channel and you can't get in. I mean, you don't own it. And that's one of those things. So if you don't, it can get turned off. Like, I know a lot of people, when Google does their algorithm changes, YouTube does their algorithm changes, their views will tank. And all of a sudden, I know people in terms of the blogging community that lost 90% of their income after an algorithm change. Oh my, that ruins you. You can't afford it. Your financial life is destroyed. And so what you want to do is you want to control your audience. So what does that mean? Have an email list so you can connect them directly. Set up Patreon or membership so people are paying you directly. Have merchandise, sell products, right? Have those courses to teach people whatever it is you're working on to help them learn how to do those things. But you would have something that you control, because you know what? YouTube could throw us off, but I still have my consulting business. Like, I go and do talks. If you, honestly, you can hire me to come talk at your business. And that's the thing, is that's something that I can control, not YouTube. And that's why when they have those algorithm switches, it can really destroy financially some influencers. That's also why, going back to the other one, be on multiple platforms. So if one doesn't like you, another one might. Now, another way influencers get broke, and this kind of relates to a lot of the other things we talked about, is basically the fake flexing. Oh, look, I have big muscles. Oh, look at my Lamborghini. Look at my private plane. Look at me being all fancy in my Rolex watch. Yeah, I mean, one, if you see influencers doing that, most of the time it is BS. Like, literally, you can go rent a Lambo for $100. There's literally places where you can film in a private jet, which isn't even a private jet. It's a sound stage, okay? I mean, I have a friend of mine in Sao Paulo that literally rents out his plane to influencers so they can make their videos. So it looks like they're doing it. And the thing is, you do things like that, it gets expensive. Remember I talked about ego is expensive? Doing these kind of things to like show off, is it really gonna pay off for your business? Is you driving around in a Lamborghini really gonna convince people that they should listen to your advice about travel or history or making money? I'm like, yeah, a person with a lot of money isn't really driving around in a Lamborghini. They're being better with their money, smarter with their money than that. Because the thing is, looking successful, what people kind of think about, like that would look successful, is actually very expensive and actually goes against being successful and can lead you into being bankrupt. Now, another reason why influencers go broke is they burn out. If you're making content all the time, and especially if you're trying to, not be yourself and be authentic, and you have to play somebody that you're not, it really wears at your soul. It really wears you down, and people get burned out. You see the videos all the time. Oh, I've got to take a break from Facebook. I got to take a break from YouTube. I'm just so burned out. And what happens is, if you get burned out and you take time off, like if you take 6 months off of making social media, you literally have to start again from scratch. It doesn't matter if you have 1 million followers, you're literally starting from zero because nobody has seen your videos. And so you gotta have a good plan, a business plan, a strategic marketing plan to grow your channel again. You gotta start over. And when you have that kind of like burnout kind of thing, it takes away and it can hurt. And if you're all of a sudden like all that income goes away, it can lead you to go broke, obviously. And that's why it's really important. Like, I have a video on talking about how long it takes to come back, but basically if you're gone for like a week or two, it doesn't make much of a difference. But you're gone for a month, it might take you a month to get back. If you're gone for 2 or 3 months, it might take you 2 or 3 months to get back to where you were. And again, over 6 months, it's like you're starting over, and all of a sudden, man, can I start over again? Because it takes time. And I think that's a mistake people make, is they think you can make money on social media right away. You cannot. Yes, you can have affiliate links with Amazon and stuff, but in terms of the ad revenue, sponsor deals, those kind of things, it takes time to do that. And if you kind of take a break from things, those deals don't come anymore, and you can go broke very quickly. That's why it's important. Going back to the other ones, the financial literacy, saving, these kind of things. And so to avoid burnout, one thing I recommend is make batch content. Make a bunch of videos at one time. Like right here, I'm sitting on this bench right here, and I am filming this video on why influencers go broke. I already filmed what to eat in Rothenburg. Here's where I am. I'm in Rothenburg, Germany. I also filmed part of the don'ts of Rothenburg. I also filmed, hey, what you should know before you go to Germany. So I've got 4 videos in this one spot. And think about it. If you put out weekly videos, I just did a month of content in one location in an hour. Doing that makes life a little bit easier. So then I know, in the next couple weeks, I'm gonna be really busy, so I can't make new content. I already have those things that I can put out later. It can save yourself a lot of hassle, so you might wanna do that. And that can be group content, batch content creating for posts, for reels, for videos, for anything. When you have that time, use it to make a bunch, so you kind of have it saved behind, like to post later. That's why it's good when you're gonna do that batch content creation, do evergreen content, stuff that works all times of the year. Like, people come to Rothenburg all parts of the year, so I can just make a don'ts of Rothenburg. It works all the time. But if I did one just on Christmas in Rothenburg, I know that I can only save that for Christmas of next year. Another thing that can help you is if you have a content schedule where you kind of list out the things you want to post, and so that you know what you need to make, so you can kind of plan ahead on that. So when you're like, oh, I need to make a few Christmas videos for next month, boom, I can have that kind of set up because your schedule really makes it a little bit easier for you, okay? And then I want to talk about this when it comes to going broke on YouTube, and that is not having a pivot plan, not evolving. What do you mean pivot plan? What do you mean evolve, Mark? People love my channel. Yes, people love your channel now. But you'll notice most content creators only have a 2 or 3 year window when they're really kind of big and making money and doing really well, and then it kind of dies off. You have to have a pivot plan. What am I going to do to change? Am I going to move into something else? Because like the Vaga brothers, they were a fantastic group, and one of the brothers pivoted. He's like, you know what? I want to go into production. And he left making YouTube and started making movies and stuff. I mean, you have these things out there that, hey, there might be a career pivot that you want to do that might give you a different opportunity. But also in terms of pivoting, you also think about evolving, because people will get bored of your channel, no matter how much they like you, no much they're part of your community. If you're making the same kind of videos year after year after year, people get kind of bored of it. So like for me, my first big videos were the 5 things people love and hate about travel. And then eventually I got bored of that. Then I went into the, 10 things that shock people they travel. Then I changed to the don'ts of travel. Now I'm doing things about the unwritten rules of travel. And I'm always evolving the topic so it's something new for people. Even if it's a place they already know, like Germany, it's cool to hear the unwritten rules of Germany. And that's one of the things you have to do. You have to evolve. Because if you don't evolve, you stay in the same place and eventually your audience erodes away. And I have a whole video about how to, not become irrelevant, to kind of check that out to help you out. But that is one of the ways they go broke, is they just become irrelevant, right? And so you don't want that to happen. So evolve with your audience. If you see them changing what they like and what they want, make videos to do that. That's going to help you keep making money and stay on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all these platforms to keep you going. Okay? So I hope this helped you learn a few lessons about how not to go broke when you're going to be an influencer. What are some of your words of advice for other influencers so they don't go broke? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll say bye from here in Rothenburg ob der Tauber, probably the cutest town in Germany. Tschüss!